Hello team! Welcome back to another Owen Does F1 race review, this time for the 2023 Miami Grand Prix. We saw some qualifying chaos, not so interesting of a race, and lots of American entertainment. So let's get into it. First off, let's talk about some of the entertainment. We had LL Cool J introducing all of the drivers before the race. Now, I liked the idea, but I didn't like the execution. Some of the things that he said didn't really make sense, like Joe being one of the most exciting drivers on the grid, and Hulkenberg's name coming from his driving style instead of, the word Hulk being in his name. So I like the idea, but maybe LL Cool J wasn't the man for the job. Also before the race, we saw Sir Jackie Stewart chasing after Roger Federer, batting away security just to get a 10-second interview for Martin Brundle on the grid walk. And Roger Federer later we saw turn into James Marsden. And then one of my favourite clips from the weekend, I didn't see it at the time, but I found a clip of this after. If De Vries wasn't already in trouble with his boss, he's certainly now in trouble with his girlfriend as well.
I got lucky. I don't think there's audio. Is there audio?
Next up, we move on to qualifying. We saw Lance Stroll and both McLarens out in Q1. Don't know what happened to Stroll. And I don't know what happened to Mercedes, because in Q2, Lewis Hamilton goes out in P13, and George was only half a tenth safe of getting into Q3. Then when we get to Q3, we see yet another Charles Leclerc crash, causing the strange lineup we had in the end. That was how qualifying went, and shout out to K-Mag for getting it into P4. Great result for him. Next up, we move on to the race. I was surprised to see no flags or safety cars all race. We did see the one incident where De Vries just decided to drive into the back of Lando on lap 1, turn 1, and with the season he's having, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't make it to the end. We've got Liam Lawson is doing well in Super Formula, and this quote from Helmut Marko saying that Super Formula is closer to Formula 1 than it is Formula 2. I wouldn't be surprised if Nick De Vries keeps going the way he's going, if we start to see the discussion of Liam Lawson taking over his seat before the end of the season, or maybe even Daniel Ricciardo. Near the front of the track, Verstappen was just on another level. He was way too fast for everyone. Brilliant performance from him, going from 9th to 1st. It was clearly a bad track for Ferrari, as Carlos Sainz went backwards and Charles Leclerc he just looked like he was really struggling to get past the Haas, and did finish in front of the Alpines and the Haas in the end, but it was a lot more difficult than you'd expect for him. And finally, the FIA, just as they were in Azerbaijan, are still on fraud watch, as after all the discussions about the cameramen being in the pit lane, it happened again. I didn't see this at the time because it wasn't caught on the stream, but I'm going to play this on board from Lando Norris when he came into the pits. Now let's take a look at my driver ratings. Here we go. So Magnussen, he did really well to hold on to a point. When you look at all of the drivers who got past him, the only two who you'd maybe question he could have tried to stay in front of are the two Alpines, but the rest, all the drivers from the Mercedes drivers, Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, and in fact that's it. Those are the only drivers who got past him, and the two Alpines. Mercedes, both drivers recovered well from qualifying, but still not a great result for them. Although, well, a good result for George in P4, but not so much for Lewis. Sonoda had another really good weekend, but unfortunately he finished P11 again. He's having a really good season, but he's only got 2 points. If you look at his results from these first 5 races, it's 2 P10s and 3 P11s. And then McLaren took a big step backwards, so very much a weekend to forget for them, and a home race to forget for Logan Sargent. And finally, elsewhere in motorsport, we had the second round of F1 Academy, Unfortunately, it's not broadcasted, so I wasn't able to watch any of it, but I do want to give a shout out to, and apologies if I say this wrong, Hamda Al Qubaisi. In the final round of the UAE Formula 4 series last year, she had her right arm radius completely shattered and a broken wrist in a last lap crash. Now, after surgery, her expected recovery time was 4 months, but just 68 days after that surgery, she took part in round 1 of F1 Academy, and 75 days after that surgery, she won the race in Valencia by 7.1 seconds. I'll put a link to that full article in the description. Go check it out. That is all from me. Let me know what you guys thought of the race and if you disagree with anything that I said, and we can battle it out in the comments. Now, I'll see you all next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow the TikTok. See you all next time.